Introducing Rolling A Ranch's newest stallion, Dash a Good Reason, a son of multiple champion Good Reason S.A. and a half-brother to champions He's a Dash of Fire and I'm a Fearless Hero. Dash a Good Reason was a finalist in the Grade 1's Los Alamitos 2 Million Futurity and Los Alamitos Super Derby.
Dash a Good Reason.
And he's ready to shine again in California at Rolling A Ranch.
Grab by Dash a Good Reason.
With impeccable breeding and success on the track, there are many reasons to book your mare to Dash a Good Reason in 2025.
And welcome everyone to the Los Alamitos Preview Show. Happy to be joined for this show by Chris Wade, the host and analyst in the Los Alamitos broadcast, and of course George Duarte, the trackman here at Los Alamitos. How are you both? Big Saturday night of racing here at Los Alamitos. No racing on Sunday night, but we're making up for it on Saturday with 12 big races, including the trials to the Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity. How are you, George?
I'm good. I'm a little sleepy, but I'm doing good. I'm excited to get these trials season get going, and a lot of these races are really competitive, and I'm looking forward to talking about them.
Chris, we're going to have 12 big ones here on Saturday, including 3 Pick 4 wagers. And I know that's one of your favorite bets, isn't it?
Oh, you can't beat it. Los Alamitos, best bet all night racing, a nice size pool, and any kind of price pumps up your return immensely. I mean, Jiminy Christmas, one long shot, and you're talking 80 or 800 and above. It's a great bet, and we got some very competitive races, some wide open events in the Kindergarten Futurity trials.
Yeah, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see with 3 different Pick 4 wagers where the singles are going to lie. Here is the quick look at the Saturday night program. By the way, Michael Rona not able to join us for this show, but he did give us a pick. So when we get to that race, we'll be sharing Michael's Rona selection. So stay tuned for that. Here's race number 1 here at Los Alamitos. And this is at 4.5 furlongs thoroughbreds. And it's a nice group of 7 in this one. And we also are doing a consensus sheet. And I can tell you guys that Speed of the Nile at 2-1 and number 4, Mr. Dream Cycle at 3-1. Those are the horses that seem to get the most attention in this opening race. In race number 2, some very familiar faces. Number 4, Project Leader, now at 8-1. He strung all those big victories, so many of them here in a row. Now he's kind of like the outsider here, looking to upset 8-1, because this field also includes To Spite Her, 3-5 on the morning line. And look at To Spite Her, just been so dominant here in 2025. 4-4-4 this season here, and even going back to last December, picked up a victory here. Anybody beating To Spite Her, George, in this one?
I don't think so. I think because he's been in front of these already repeatedly. So it's hard. In order to beat him, you would need somebody to basically sacrifice themselves and say, I'm going to go with him. I'm going to make sure he gets, has to get a work for that lead. And then you're just giving up the race for everybody else. So I think what's going to happen is a lot of these horses are battling for points for the summer stakes coming up. And I think they're just going to be like, you know what? I want to make sure I get second. I'm not going to try to burn my race to help somebody else. I'm not going to go with him. And he draws outside, so even if he breaks a little slow, he's not going to lose his path. So it's just really hard to beat him with that, especially with that post draw. If he had the rail, then you can think of an idea of he breaks slow, might lose his path, might have to go around horses, but he draws the outside. It's going to be hard for him not to get a good enough trip.
And I started with you on this race because, Chris, you actually are going a little bit different way with this race, right? It's not going to be To Spite Her. Who is going to win this one, Chris?
Well, To Spite Her definitely the one to beat, but Grays and Sun are in a pretty solid figure on my charts off that recent effort at Santa Anita, and has a look at the outcome on this event. So they'll be giving this horse a go. And at 2-1, probably float up off that number, but on my numbers, the horse has a good look at the outcome. And To Spite Her, definitely the one to beat, definitely the one to catch off those 870-yard events, to probably be on the engine from that outside post. But Grays and Sun has a little bit of a look there as a second choice in the morning line on my numbers.
Let me tell you, I got burned a few weeks ago when I picked a horse that won at Santa Anita by 11 lengths, then came here and couldn't get the job done here because we do have some very tough horses here. But we'll see. It'll certainly make it interesting if Grayson's son shows up that speed and gets the best of this race. The rest of the races are all quarter horse races here at Los Alamitos. Again, 12 races on top, so we are going to have 3 pick 4 wagers. Here's race number 3. These are 2-year-olds, but they're not in the trials to the Kindergarten Futurity. These ones are getting ready for the Ed Burke Million Trials. Remember, those races you need to make at least 1 start prior to the trials to be eligible. In this one, only one of them has actually run already. That would be number 3, Lightning Gal, finishing 5th here at Los Al on April the 5th. The other one, some interesting names, Hot Times, is that of the Parties on Fire trainer. Juan Alaman is the trainer for Ed Allred and Tom Sibley. Kiss My Jackpot, Eddie Willis trains this horse, and this one worked first at Remington before coming here and having a 12.6 drill. We've seen horses at Remington that had their first work at Remington come here and do very, very well. So we'll see how that goes for Kiss My Jackpot. Another pretty good group all around. Race number 4. This is a 10-horse field of fillies and mares, and you got to look at Powerful Wise Lady as the one to beat, 2-1 on the morning line, coming over of a second place finish in the Los Alamitos Oaks. Anyone else in this one, George? Powerful Wise Lady, is she a rifle 2-1 favorite here?
The way she's been breaking, I would say she's the deserved favorite. She's been breaking. Her problem at the beginning of her career was just her slow breaks, and she would come on running. But the last few starts, she's been coming away on top, and now she's shortening up and facing allowance ranks here. She is the one to beat, but this is a really contentious field. One I would like for people to use in their supers would be the 9 Be Careful. I really liked her debut last May, and then came back off that long layoff and had a really troubled trip. And she worked well prior to that comeback effort, and draws the outside post. I think that's one that you should use in your supers and even in your pick 4s.
Chris?
Yeah, Be Powerful Wisely. Definitely a one to beat. Shortening up to figures, my numbers, triple tough to deny. I agree with George with Be Careful, but another long shot stab was a horse who was on the outside last time and didn't get away all that well, but was finishing better than look. The final half, that was EBW Inception. Might be another horse to use in the exotics at the very least with this horse, because she's a second time on the outside post right back. She didn't get away all that well. She finished relatively well the final half of the affair, but have to look at the outcome to grab a slice of the pie in this event. Of course, Mamacita owes me one from her last effort, and she's got to look at the outcome as well.
Yeah, that's who I went for my second choice. Very well bred, 4-year-old mare, and she seems to hit the board just about every single time. Has had some good clockings at this 300 yards, including that 1551 on January the 26th. All right, the rest of the races are going to be Kindergarten Futurity Trials. So let's get right to it. Race number 5. This is the race that Michael Rona has his top selection, and it is number 2, State Secrets, 6-1 on the morning line. And now Michael, about this horse, says that she has done a few things wrong in both of their gate drills, but she has recorded fast times under a strong hold. The rail horse looked in early on debut, and number 3 was slow to begin. Now he's talking about the rest of the field here, and he's hoping for a clear early path for State Secrets because she has plenty of ability and can make some noise. So Michael Rona is going to go with the number 2 horse, State Secrets, and he's getting a nice little price here at 6-1 on the morning line. George, who is your selection here in race number 5, the opening trial to the Kindergarten Futurity?
I ended up going with Centella Olympia. I picked her on debut, and I thought she ran fine. I didn't think there was no negatives for me in that effort. And if you notice, the Nunez EG High Desert horses, they've all looking like they were given a start. So I think they were prepping for this mainly. And the deserved favorite is Beyond Repair on the rail, but the problem is that he's lugged in the workouts, lugged in his start, and now gets the rail. So that's just a recipe for disaster. So that's why I'm willing to go against them with a horse I like from the get-go. I like her works. I like her breeding. I expect that improvement. The distance should not be a problem. And that's the one I like on top. Other ones to consider for me would have been Relentless Trick DB. I thought he worked well. His workouts, he got away well in both of them, looked really professional, and then just came away slow on debut. And I just put a line through that one. I think he's going to put a much better effort and draws next to one that also tends to lug in State Secrets in both her works. And a long shot would be a Touch Base. I like the workouts, took money in that debut. And I just think he has more to give, and especially at 20-1 is one I want to use in the supers.
Yeah, I also went with the Tella Olympia at the top of my ticket here for race number 5. Chris, any other horses different than the ones that George just mentioned?
No, not really. I gave the slight edge to Beyond Repair. This horse could just break and run halfway straight. Definitely a one to beat. Worked very well prior, and showed a lot of ability in that debut just by breaking inward. The aforementioned Centella Olympia would be my second choice, along with George. Horse worked very, very well prior to that effort, and broke okay and skied, but finished nice and galloped out pretty well. And of course, Val Baby on the outside is better than shown. Worked pretty well prior on the outside post to promote a clear path the wire on the stretch out here tonight.
Well, E.G. High Desert Farms loves the Kindergarten Futurity. He's won it a couple of times. I can remember Hawkish was the big winner of the Kindergarten Futurity, and not too long ago, Walk Through Crystal also won the Kindergarten Futurity. So he definitely likes to point to this race. Young sire Amir Felix, a nice opportunity for this sire to continue to build that resume that he has. So State Secrets is Michael Rona's selection. And there's State Secrets working from the inside post. Favorite Cartel filly. And one thing that you're going to see is that she's a little slow leaving the gate, and she looks a little green early on. And one thing about it is that the whole time that she's going in this workout, she's looking at the horse to her outside. And you're going to see that. Just can't take her eyes off of the workmate. That's going to be Mr. Hawks. You can kind of see the head turning, and there she is. I don't know, maybe she falls in love with Mr. Hawks or something, because she just can't stop looking at Mr. Hawks, or she's just saying, hey, you're not going to get past me. But there, Mr. Hawks gets there at the end. Little green there in this race, State Secret. So that's kind of what Michael was saying. Has made a little bit of mistakes in her drills, but still, even with that, where she's kind of turning sideways, she still posted a pretty good time, 12.5 here for State Secrets. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next trial race. That will be trial number 6. And there's the field, Strawberry Silk from the rail, Lady Hope. Several of these runners have already posted efforts, including number 4, Separatist Tornado at 8-5. We do have some first-time starters on the outside. Birdie Pruitt, 12-1. Dulcified at 7-2 out there on the outside post. Any thoughts on this one, Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to give the slightest edge to Separatist Tornado, that the 4-horse who won on debut, improved from the first drill to the second drill immensely, and ran well in that debut to win. Rather handily be my top choice in race 6. The 3, AB Corona de Rey would be our second choice. This one, nice efforts in the morning. Broke good, skied a little bit, finished well, and galloped out pretty strong. So horses will look at the outcome. And of course, up on the outside, Dulcified did work pretty well for Kristen Watanabe. So a 4, 3, and 7 in tonight's 6th event for me.
George?
It's the same for me. Separatist Tornado. I really like how Sergio Morfin, if you look, just that he looks like he had the intent to win early. All his horses have been professional. They've all been working together in 3-team sets. And he looks like he really pointed towards the early races. And I just think he has this one primed already. He did nothing wrong in his debut, and I think he's going to just take a step forward from there. As for Dulcified, I think that work on April 2nd, I think it was the opposite of a horse we saw on last week that we talked about, CD Lady with Class, where when the rival came up to her, she would not let him go by. And Dulcified was the opposite. He came up to the rival and would not go by. He just so that's what I don't like. I love the breed. I love Shanachi, that mare. I always like her horses. O'Donnell Rosa is a good 870 horse. The one that won the Los Alamitos 2 million and Edberg Million, I think it was. What's his name again?
Party
Politics. So I like the breeding. I just did not like that he did not want to go by. I wanted to see that competitiveness out of him. So that's why I ended up picking him third, because on talent, it just watching him, if he was with no other horses, I would probably like him on top. But I just did not like the lack of competitiveness of going by in that workout.
Yeah, Party Politics won the Edberg Million and also won the Golden State Million and was a Derby winner during his 3-year-old campaign. I selected Dulcify second in this one, and I agreed with the 4 Separatist Tornado as my top selection. Moving on now to race number 7. In this one, we got one of the standouts of the night. Number 7, Beuteeful. Look at that time at 2:20, 11:90. I don't think anyone else has cracked the 11 under 12 seconds other than Beuteeful. She is 3-5 on the morning line, KBN Corona. Better think twice. That's the breeding here. Morphine has another one in this one, 4-1 Corona Straw Finder. Anybody else, George, other than Beuteeful?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's even broken 12:10. It's just, and she did it with some trouble. She broke in, bumped the rival, drifted in early, and then just took off. So it's just, and those strides looked really good. And I just can't see how she loses this against this field. As for an exacta partner, I would say it's the Sergio Morphin on the outside. I think he's going to benefit from being outside that big favorite and can just follow along. So I think it's a slam dunk exacta 7-8.
Chris?
Wholeheartedly agree. Beuteeful was just that. She was beautiful. Your arms were tingling after this horse ran and galloped out very, very strong. This horse won without even being asked to run a step, and it's so very talented. My second choice would be aforementioned the Corner Straw Finder, and of course Hawk Rod there for Eddie Willis. Not a bad workout in tow, and the horse has a look at the outcome to grab a slice of the Underneath Exotic Pie as my third number in that 7th event.
Yeah, I actually went with Hawk Rod as my second selection. $120,000 at the Heritage Place sale purchased by Eddie Willis. And the more I talk to Eddie Willis, the more I've come to know that he has a tremendous eye for horses. He likes purchasing horses and does extremely well in his combination with James Sills and Abel Flores. It was Eddie Willis that helped them kind of build their breeding program. So he has a tremendous eye.
And he owns this one.
Exactly.
He's
so
the one that dropped that 120,000 on this one.
That's right.
The only negative I would say, though, is surprisingly for how good he is, Eddie Willis, he is 1 for his last 79 with debut runners.
I can't believe that.
I couldn't believe it either. I had to recheck. I was like, let me make sure this is right. And yeah, 1 for 79.
Okay. Well, I actually checked in the history of the kindergarten just the last 3 years. And we've had 25 trials. There's only been 6 horses that won a trial in their debut. And I think last year there was actually quite a few that did that last year, Mr. Bud being one of them. But over the course of the time, only 6 trials were won by horses making their debut. So the experience does matter. Let's go ahead and look at race number 8. Race number 8. This one, we have a couple of horses that impressed us. Number 7, Wake Up Little Susie, 12-12. That one came close to breaking that 12-10 mark. Elmer Romero went 12-19 when losing to Billionaire Behavior in a very, very close finish. High Octane, I do have a workout that I'm going to show for High Octane. Those are 3 of the names that kind of come to mind in this trial. Chris?
I'm going to give a slight edge to Elmer Romero. This is our top pick last time. Came within a nose of getting the victory in the maiden debut and galloped out very, very well. And be my top choice. Wake Up Little Susie won well on the ship in off a workout at Remington Park for Paul Jones and company. And, of course, the 5 High Octane. Nice series of drills. Had a little trouble in that last drill, but finished well. Galloped out pretty strong. So 8-7-5 in that 8th event for me.
George?
I went the opposite. I flipped them. I took Wake Up Little Susie on top. I just had that experience with that really troubled trip on the training race. And then comes here, and just runs really well. I can't believe he went off at 17-1. I had it in the pick 4, but I didn't know he was 17-1. Otherwise, I would have put some win money. And I also picked the Elmer Romero last time on top, and I thought he lost all chance at the start when he got bumped, when he bobbled. And I just was really impressed by how he finished and actually and galloped out past the winner in that race, because he's a really small little guy, and I just think he's really quick. He's going to be a lot quicker than what he showed that race. So yeah, I think he's going to give her a run for the money, but I think she's just a little bit better.
Let's take a look at High Octane and this gate drill just really quickly. Apolitical Jess Gelding out of mare by the name of Valentina Candy Rocks, who was a multiple stakes winner at Hoosier in Indianapolis, earned over $260,000. And High Octane is going to go from the inside post, working evenly with KVN Corona Gelding, named 6 Coronas for K, who's also in these trials as well. But going 12-3, beating 6 Corona 4K, who went in 12-6. You're going to see him take a little small hop there, leaving. But look how quick into his stride he is. Also by his rider right here. And those two kind of go there, continue gamely the whole way. And I said the outside horse went 12-6. No, they went evenly, 12-3. So my mistake there.
Sibling qualified to the West Texas Futurity this year. So there's early breeding in that.
There you go. That's Valentina Candy Rocks baby High Octane, a Utah bred here. Let's go ahead and move on to race number 9. And on this one, we have a runner-up in SR Cool Corona, the one that ran second to Beuteeful. Her time was 12:15, 9:25 on the morning line. Shining favorite at 3-1. And this one was one that I thought was going to do well in the debut, went off as the favorite, lost to Blow Your Whistle in one of the first baby races that we've had this meet. George, what stands out?
I let price be my guide in this race. I thought the 4, 6, 7, and 8, even the 1 could all win this race. So I just went with the one that was the highest price, and Mr. Hawks. He had a tough post. He's a big size gelding out of colt, and he had the rail on debut, and that's why I didn't like him. He broke inward, and he was running fine until the winner, Beyond Repair, lugged in, and then he started taking the kickback from that horse. And then you see him just quit running and lug out. So that one, so you can't really take much out of the finish of that race, because he just was, he lost it when he took that kickback. But if you look at that work that we saw from State Seekers, that's the one that outworked her with that. And he's that big size, flashy looking colt, and he's gonna like the longer distances. This distance might be a little too short for him, but he does get an outside post, and he should get a much better trip than he did on debut. And I just like the price of 6-1. Like I said, the other ones can easily win too, but I just had to take that 6-1 on a horse that I know is talented.
Yeah, definitely showed talent there, beating State Secret, especially at that very end when showed that little extra kick. Chris?
I'm going to slide edge to SR Cool and Corona to the outside. This horse worked nicely prior to the debut and broke good, skied a little bit, finished steady, beaten just a little bit, galloped out nice. The outside post gives this horse a big look to be a big factor in this event. The 4, Shining Favorite, be my second choice. This horse was a nice worker and had a little trouble early, beat just by a little bit on the wire, but galloped out very strong, and that impressed me, especially on the stretch out here tonight. And then, of course, the 1, Cowgirl Nelly. This horse is better than shown, galloped out pretty well last time after breaking a little bit slow. Has a long shot look, and, of course, the aforementioned Mr. Hawks did work pretty well prior, hated that kickback, and can definitely move forward here at a price there as our 4th number and George's top there at 6-1.
Let's go ahead and move on to race number 10. We're right there in the middle of the late pick 4 action. The last 4 races, beginning with race number 9, would make up the late pick 4. Race number 10, Billionaire Behavior, 3-1 on the morning line. And I talked about how E.G. High Desert Farms enjoys winning the Kindergarten Futurity. So does Dutch Masters 3. They won this race many, many times. Sassy Smith, Secret Card, Twin Spires, just a few of the names that have won this race. Gold Nugget Road was another one that won the Kindergarten Futurity for this owner. 3-1 for Billionaire Behavior. Blow Your Whistle. Horse that won by a nose, beating Shining Favorite in their debut. And she's going to be 10-1 here. So talk about maybe some value there on number 5, Blow Your Whistle. The 7, Leaving the Cartel at 5-2. Trained by Eddie Willis, and looking to give a win here for Eddie Willis and break that streak there of only one win from 79 debut horses. So Leaving the Cartel can certainly get it done. And number 8, Winding. Debut was a 2-1 choice, ran third. So let's talk about this one, George. What do you think of the 8, Winding, in race number 10?
I think this race is probably the most competitive in the group. I think top to bottom, I think they all can win. I mean, Champion's Run is the longest shot in this race and worked really well in his prior works, and just had a even effort on debut. Blow Your Whistle at 10-1, I think it looks on the running line like he was tiring, he was getting caught, but what happened was she just wasn't maintaining a straight path, and you see Jonathan Roman was battling with her, and that's the reason that she got almost nearly lost. The one with the most professional effort on debut was Billionaire Behavior, and that's going to be my top pick. He came away well and was just under a hand ride and comfortably won, I thought. And Jaime, like you said, Jaime knows how to win this futurity. He knows. I think he's been pointing all his horses. Been ridden by Eduardo Ocasio, and they all haven't been asked really in their races. So I think they've just been preparing for this race, for these trials, and they're going to fight the big shot tonight. I respect Winding, but I'll let Chris talk more about that one.
All right, Chris, what do you think of the 8, Winding?
Winding, drawn to the outside. I'm going to give this horse a look to make some amends. This horse worked very well prior to the debut, and was a big improvement from first drill to second drill, and was the favorite, but had a good amount of trouble, broke slow, was cross, and finished well under a tight hold late and galloped out pretty well. So drawn to the outside, up against a 1-for-72 first-time starter. That's George's numbers. But leaving the Cartel be my second choice off that very impressive workout. But Winding, drawn to the outside, we'll have a horse to chase and drawn to the outside. Nice little price there. So I'll read my video, my price play, my top pick, and my preview show selection with the better getaway horses. A big look at the outcome. The aforementioned leaving the Cartel be our second choice. The 2, Billionaire Behavior. We took up nose of this horse last time, was our 4th choice, and left out of our tickets on the pick 6 that night, and it cost us leaving that man Jaime Gomez out of a good race, and got the nose victory and galloped out pretty well. And of course, the 3, Handsome as a Look, is our 4th number in that 10th event. Well matched, closely matched affair. Give a slight look at a price to Winding on the outside.
Yeah, and I mentioned how Dutch Masters 3 likes to win the Kindergarten, and George pointed out perfectly. So does Jaime Gomez. For forever, we've been calling him the King of the Kindergarten because he has won so many of these races. I want to say he may have won 8 of them, which would be a stakes record. No one has won as many as Jaime Gomez, if my memory serves me right. The 2, Billionaire Behavior. First down dash runner here, looking to advance to the May 11th final. Winding, the top pick for Chris Wade in this race and the play of the night. And there's a 7, Leaving the Cartel, a $90,000 purchase. I do have a game work there for Leaving the Cartel. This one is going to be going from the inside post right here out of a political Jess Mare by the name of DFAJ Green Leaves, who earned over $300,000 and was second in the Grade 3 Heritage Place Derby. So Leaving the Cartel, working from the inside, and is going to win this drill ahead of Fabulous Emblem, 12-3 versus 12-9. No blinkers being used by Leaving the Cartel. And you can see was moving around a little bit. Broke really hard, moved in slightly, but accelerated in a flash, and just look at the way she just continues on, accelerating, putting space in between her rival. Nice finish. and just a really nice gallop out. Look at that gallop out right there. Very impressive there for leaving the cartel. And another one that began those training works that show up on the page. She began hers at Remington Park. That was her first gate work at Remington Park. So that's race number 10.
There's a one thing I want to mention about those Remington works, especially when they're at 220 yards. I would ignore the times. Basically, like I wouldn't don't even think about those works. There's no way the horse really works. It's 1173. I mean, that would be great level for older horses.
Notice that I never that fast. Yeah, I never mentioned the times.
Yeah, like, because I used to get burned by that before. Back in the day when I first started betting Remington, I was like, oh wow, this horse worked 11.8, worked 11.7, 220, and they would be nowhere. So I would just note it worked 220, but I would ignore the times. Don't even bother looking at those times. The only race times that matter for me at that track are the training races when they go 250.
Let's move on to race 11. A really nice field here in race 11. And it looks like Don't Tell Mama and Trident IoT are the ones to watch. Trident, the number 5 horse at 9-5. Don't Tell Mama at 3-1. Who did you go with in this one, George?
I stuck with the horse I liked last time in Trident IoT. I talked about how I didn't like the workouts or how he was worked out. And I expected him to run better, and he did. He ran to what I expected him to run. Solid time in 12:23. I expect him to improve off that effort. Like that was I would look at it as he has only worked once and only ran once. I wouldn't look at it as 2 works. One of those works was basically a non-work because he wasn't allowed to do much. So I expect that progression off that second race. I mean, in the second race to be a lot more than what's expected. The main threat to him is the 7. Don't Tell Mama. He took money on debut, worked well prior, and I thought he ran fine. He got what happens when you go on the outside as a young horse. They usually break out, they drift out, and they just sometimes they get lost out there. So I think he'll enjoy having a horse outside of him. And another one that you kind of need to pay attention to is the 8 Val Future. Two of his siblings qualified to the Kindergarten Futurity, and I thought he ran just fine in his effort on debut.
Chris?
ABC, I go with Trident IoT as my top choice. Ran very, very well in that debut. This one worked nicely in the morning as well. Galloped out pretty well. So that'll be my top selection there for Kristen Watanabe. The aforementioned Don't Tell Mama would be my second choice. This horse was a B++ worker in the debut and the first workout and skied a little bit early, but finished well and galloped out nicely. So definitely will move forward. And the 8 Val Future on the outside had to look as my third choice, and the 4 MG Private Relations be my fourth choice. So 5, 7, 8, and 4, but mostly 5, 7 in that 11th event.
And one other horse that I have to mention is Sunday Rain. Michael Zinda worked in the press box here with us many, many years ago. And he went on and purchased this runner, Fuhu filly. And he ran her here. She won a stakes race, has since bred her, and she's produced some really nice runners during her time as a broodmare. And now great to see that name again, Zinda Racing and Sunday Rain. So I always root for the horses. My good old buddy Michael Zinda here continues to support quarter horse racing here at Los Alamitos. Race number 12, the final trial to the Kindergarten Futurity, and we had a pretty impressive winner here, number 7, Error Code, 2-1, won by 3/4 of a length, and did it very, very impressively, giving his sire Mental Error, or she's a filly. She gave his sire Mental Error his first winner for the freshman sire, Error Code. Who else, George, do we like in race 12?
I like Mental Error's progeny and Error Code, but similar to her sire is that she made mistakes. Mental Error was known for his mistakes in races. He would break through the gate. he would cause his own trouble, and she was full of run, but she was swerving out the whole race. She leaned out the whole time. She never really leveled and still won rather comfortably. So I take her as a favorite, but I wouldn't single her because I just think, off that effort, she could be doing something like that again, and then also, which would end up bumping with the outside rival. So one I thought was interesting was Sparks Be Flying. Is a half to a 1 that qualified to the Kindergarten Futurity, and I thought had a really troubled trip, got bumped, then kept reacting to the horses that were near her. She would shy away from them, and she just never got comfortable. And I liked the work prior to that on March 16th, so I think that one has a lot more to show. Another one that's kind of interesting is Call Me JB. I thought he showed heart after breaking slow. He's a smaller sized one, and I think he's going to be good at this 300-yard distance, and is also another one hailing from the Sergio Morfin barn. I think they're going to have a good night.
Chris, you weren't happy to hear that George likes Sparks Be Flying. Why?
Well, that was my second choice. I put Eric Code on top off that very impressive debut. The horse was looking around and skiing, but the horse should improve. Second saw this one's clear, so with a horse to the outside, should keep this horse straight. So definitely the one to beat, but Sparks Be Flying there at 12 to 1 the morning line is a nice price individual that could get in the number. And you can't leave this horse out. This horse was a nice worker in the morning, had some trouble, was crossed, but finished pretty well and earned a pretty good figure with all factored in on my numbers. So it'll be my second choice at a nice morning line. And, of course, Candy-Eyed Susie down on the inside there in post 2 for Eddie Willis. Worked nicely. It was an A- work on my charts. Then One Salty Corn will be my fourth number, but 7621 in the finale on Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity Trial Night.
All right, now on the screen, I got the consensus for Saturday night and the whole card, 12 big ones here. Here are consensus selections. I'm going to kind of go briefly through them. We have a debut guest here for El Príncipe. He provides our commentary in Spanish on the Nightlines program. He is stepping in and getting that first slot right there. Chris Wade, George Duarte, Professor G, and Joey Quarters are also providing their selections in the consensus. The top selections for the opening race, it's very close. Speed of the Nile, Too Tall to Call, and Mr. Dream Cycle. You can see the points right there, 16 points for Speed of the Nile. Once again, race number 2, To Spite Her, almost a perfect record, gets 23 points, but Chris is going against To Spite Her. That makes Grayson Son at 15
To Spite Her, too. That's why.
Oh, Chris, very good, George. Once again, Chris, why Grayson Son?
Just I thought hearing the very nice figure in that starter allowance optional claimer across town to Santa Anita, earned a pretty good figure. So I'm going to give the horse just a little bit of a look at 2 to 1 in the morning line to sit a trip. And definitely one to beat To Spite Her on the outside with a cross and clear off that 870. But just a little bit of a look on my numbers for the 2 horse in that event.
All right, Shine Ellen at 21 points, but a couple did select favorite Terra, including Chris Wade. Chris, there you go, Chris, taking strong stands all over the place. Powerful Wise Lady flipped the board there, 25 points. In a very close one, Mambasita, the second selection, 7 points. Let's get to the trial. Centella Olympia at 19, but not far behind, Beyond Repair. And again, Chris, Joey Quarters, and El Príncipe all select Beyond Repair. George and I agree on Centella Olympia. Real quickly, George, Centella Olympia, give me the key aspect of why you're making Centella Olympia your top selection.
I really liked her second work. She was under a hold throughout, and I just really liked the way she was going. And I think Nunez and E.G. High were pointing for this race and on the debut, so I expect a much better effort.
Separatist Tornado in race number 6 with 23 points. Beuteeful does get the third slot here on the consensus with 6 points. We all agree, Beautiful, 25 points. Everyone picks Beautiful on top. Wake Up Little Susie in race number 8 at 21 points. Elmer Romero at 19. We show the Gaydro from High Octane. Several of us have him as the third selection, but Joey Quarters take the Jet. SR Cool Corona is the top point getter with 23 points in race number 9. The shining favorite with 11 points, and Mr. Hawks completes it with 6 points because, George, you picked Mr. Hawks on top. Why again?
I love the breeding. I love the size. He looks like a graded stakes runner and gets off the rail for his second start.
Moving on to race number 10, Billionaire Behavior. 19 points, leaving the cartel and Winding end up with 8. But Chris, your play of the night, Winding, gets your top selection. Why?
Well, like I said, this horse did improve immensely from first drill to second drill, then had a good amount of trouble in the debut, but finished well under a tight hold and drawn to the outside against a first-time starter, and can definitely have a target to run at with a clean getaway, and the added yardage has a look at a nice price there as my preview show selection and price play in the racing card.
Trident, IoT, and Don't Tell Mama very close in the 11th, 21 points for Trident, 19 for Don't Tell Mama. And it looks like everybody just pretty much went ABC there. Val Future gets 5 points in this one as the third selection. Error Code with 23 points. In the final trial, Candy Eye Susie with 13 points. And Miss Train Cartel here with 5 points because El Principe made her choice number 2 in race number 12. George, you did select Error Code on top, but you wouldn't be surprised if Candy Eye Susie gets the win.
I would be surprised since it is a Eddie Willis first-time starter. But I thought she worked really good and caught a kind of a weaker trial, so that's why I ended up picking her second.
And Eddie Willis gonna win like 3 races with first-time starters on Saturday.
Well, I can always adjust. If he's on fire and wins with the first 2, then I can always change my mind. But as of now, I'm going against him.
Thank you for all that took the time to send us their selection. Always fun to check out who picks who. And again, it's going to be on our website and also on the Nightlines program here on Saturday night. Big racing program. Thank you both for joining us. Final thoughts there for the Saturday card, George.
As I always say on these big cards, always play the supers. They always pay well. And if you're going to decide between this, what bet you want to play for the whole night, I would say the superfectas. You're going to see so many pay over $1,000 for $1, and you just have to be right in one race to make your night.
Chris, final thoughts?
And don't leave out that one horse in the pick 4 with these 3 pick 4s. Don't leave out that one horse to save $12. I don't want to tell you how many times I've saved $12 and cost myself $500 to $1,000. Don't save it because the pick 4 pools, nice size, any kind of price pumps up your turn immensely.
First post on Saturday, 6:05 p.m., 8 trials to the Kindergarten Futurity. Thank you for all the viewers. Thank you, George. Thank you, Chris. Have a great rest of your day and see you at the races. Should be a fun night here at Los Alamitos.
Racing